You begin with breath, soft, slow, quiet. As your chest rises and falls, you may not notice, but every inhale carries the memory of stars. Not poetry, not metaphor, real stars. Stars that died long before Earth had oceans. Long before your ancestors dreamed. The oxygen you breathe, the carbon in your bones, the calcium in your teeth, all of it forged in the hearts of ancient suns. You are a constellation, walking, not of light, but of atoms, tiny, restless fragments of the universe. They gather in you, swirl through you, form the scaffolding of your thoughts, the rhythm of your heartbeat, then pass on. You do not keep them. You borrow them. You are not made of things, you are made of pieces. Of particles so small they defy imagination, yet so precisely arranged they create the echo of a self. Your hand resting by your side feels solid. But if you could dive into it, past the skin, past the cells, through the molecules and deeper still, you would find a world that is mostly space. Not between each atom is a vastness, a quiet, humming emptiness. If an atom were the size of a cathedral, its nucleus, the center, would be the size of a grain of sand. And the electrons would orbit far away, dancing around the edges. Everything else, air, void, room for dreams. This is the paradox of being. You are built from what barely exists. The atoms that form you are ancient, but their connections are temporary. They come together in this brief and beautiful pattern you call me. And when you sleep, when you rest, they go on humming their slow and endless song. Nothing in you is still, not really, even in stillness. Your particles are vibrating, shifting, exchanging. The cells of your skin shed and renew. The iron in your blood moves with every beat of your heart. You are in constant conversation with the world, not through words, but through exchange. When you touch a leaf, a spoon, a lover's hand, your atoms press close to theirs, never quite touching, but close enough to whisper. Close your eyes again. Feel the pulse in your wrist. Each beat is powered by invisible engines, molecules unfolding, folding, releasing energy. Fuel made from sunlight, captured in plants, passed into your body, translated by the symphony of your cells. You are not just stardust, you are sunlight, slowed into flesh. The warmth you feel in your chest, that's photons from a distant sun, held in sugar and carbon, released in tiny bursts to keep you alive. And yet you feel solid. You feel still. That's the illusion. Matter pretends to be stable, but beneath your skin is a shifting tide of atoms, like sand in a silent storm. None of them belong to you forever. Atoms pass through you in food, in breath, in water, in touch. You are a momentary gathering, like a cloud shaped by wind or a whirlpool in a stream. Beautiful, brief, becoming. You may think of yourself as one thing, but you are millions, trillions, a city of cells, each with its own tasks and stories. And inside each of those cells, countless molecules. Inside the molecules, atoms.n. Even those atoms are not final. They are not indivisible. Each one is a theater of energy, a dense nucleus at the center, surrounded by flickering orbits of tenays, with electrons and the space between. Almost everything your body, this quiet presence lying in the dark, is built from spaces, from distance, from separation held together by invisible threads. So how do you feel whole? How do you feel real? Because energy does not need to be solid to be strong. Because what you are is not what you can touch. It is what you are held together by. Forces, patterns, rhythms, memory. You are a breath woven from ancient elements. A tapestry stitched by gravity and time. When you speak, when you think, when you love, you rearrange the dust of stars into something new. You never leave the universe. Even in sleep, you are a part of its hum. Your atoms do not stop. They hum in your bloodstream, dance in your breath, rise in your thoughts and the silence between them. The space that seems empty is not absence. It is potential. It is pause. It is room for wonder. You are not a container. You are a composition. The way a song is made of notes and spaces, You are made of atoms and the quiet in between. You are the music and the pause. You are form and you are the space around it. So when you lie still and listen, you are not listening to nothing. You're tuning in to the quiet breath of being, the exhale of time, the soft whisper of particles rearranging. It's the memory of fire. From stars long gone, the next breath you take will carry the past into the present. It might hold atoms once breathed by a woolly mammoth, or drifted through Saturn's rings, or sat for a century in the shadow of a mountain. Atoms remember nothing, but they have been everywhere. And now they are in you, borrowed, briefly arranged, just long enough to become a life. And when you release them, with a sigh, with sleep, they move on, not lost, just continuing their story. In this stillness, you are not alone. You are part of a pattern older than Earth and wider than the sky. And as you fall towards sleep, your body sighs and the stars within you rest. Tomorrow, your atoms will keep moving quietly, steadily, faithfully. They will build you again moment by moment, and beneath all of it, beneath the cells, beneath the molecules, beneath the atoms, something smaller waits. A center that holds no mass. It's a possibility instead of a point. It's a place where nothing touches, and yet everything begins. Asterisk, you move inward now. Not outward to stars or galaxies, but inward, into the smallest spaces of yourself, into the tiny world beneath your skin, beneath your cells, beneath the very idea of solid things. You are traveling inward, into the realm where certainty fades and stillness begins to shimmer. You reach for an atom. It's a single quiet unit of matter. You've heard of them all your life, the building blocks of everything. But this time, you don't just name it. You drift into it. At first, it seems like nothing. You were expecting something small, but real. Something you could imagine, maybe hold in your mind. But instead, you find space. Mostly space. A wide, open silence. If you stretch the size of an atom to that of a great cathedral, then at its center, the nucleus is no larger than a single grain of rice. The electrons. They move near the farthest edges, tracing the air in quiet spirals. Never still, never certain. That's the first strange thing. Atoms are not made of pieces locked together like bricks. They are made of motion, clouds, of probability. Patterns, not points. At the center. Deep inside sits the nucleus. It holds protons and neutrons, huddled close like an old silent secret. Each proton carries a positive charge. Each neutron is neutral together. They form the heart of the atom. But it is not a beating heart. It is a gravity of sorts, a dense, heavy hush. The nucleus is small, but mighty. Almost all of the atom's mass is concentrated there. If the atom is an empty concert hall, the nucleus is the piano left on stage, and around it, electrons, tiny negative charges that never stop moving. But they don't orbit like planets. Not really. They flicker. They appear and disappear. They exist in clouds, swirling, probabilistic regions where they are most likely to be found. This is not a place of certainty. It is a place of maybe, of what-ifs, and might-bests. The electron could be here, or there, or not at all, and somehow, this uncertainty makes everything real. The more precisely you try to measure where an electron is, the less you know about its speed. And the more you know its speed, the fuzzier its location becomes. This isn't an error. This is the rule. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, a soft whisper written into the laws of the quantum world. Here, your instincts fail you because you expect to find things, particles, solids, but what you find is potential. A delicate fog of possibilities shaped by energy and chance, and yet you are made of these not things. These whispers, the electrons, do not follow fixed paths. They dance in orbitals, not circles, but patterns. Some form spheres, some stretch like dumbbells, some twist into complex shapes like flowers folding in upon themselves. They do not move because they are pushed. They move because they exist in motion. Their motion defines their presence, even More strange, they are not even really here until you ask them to be. Until you observe them, they remain in superposition, a blend of all their possible states. But the moment you look, they choose. They collapse into one position. They decide what strange particles these are that seem to know when they are being watched, not in consciousness, but in consequence. This is the quiet heart of the atom, not just matter, but mystery. The nucleus, tiny and dense, is made of quarks. Two even smaller particles, held together by the strong nuclear force. A force so powerful, it keeps positively charged protons from flying apart. A glue born of balance. You do not feel this force, but without it, the atom would not hold dot. Everything would dissolve into silence. The strong nuclear force, the quietest one, is also the most essential. It reaches only across tiny distances, but it is the root of the atom's stillness. And the electrons, though weightless compared to the nucleus, are what make atoms interact. They are the reason things bond. Why water flows, why fire burns, why life exists. They are the threads that weave, molecules that give atoms their voice. The atom, then, is not a miniature solar system. It is a probability field. It is a hush with shape. It is music not yet played, but vibrating with readiness. And yet, in all this movement, all this unknowability, atoms come together to form the ordinary world. Tables, clouds, you. Clouds, you. How is it that such uncertainty gives rise to such stability? Because nature, at its smallest level, embraces ambiguity. And from that ambiguity, it builds pattern. And from that pattern, it builds life. You are not made of matter alone. You are made of the rules matter follows. You are formed by laws so subtle, so strange. You can only glimpse them through careful wondering. And as you drift deeper into this realm, you begin to feel that the atom is not empty. Its space is not void. It is full of presence, of potential, of forces and fields and dances unseen. The atom holds emptiness. Yes, but it is an emptiness that builds. It is the pause that shapes the note, the space between words, the quiet between heartbeats. That silence makes music possible. And this silence makes matter possible. So you rest here now, floating in the heart of a single atom, cradled in quietness, held between what is and what might be. You are not separate from this world. You are this world. A pattern of particles, a cloud of maybes arranged just so. You are the atom, dreaming of itself. And as you lie in stillness, so do they, the atoms that hold you? Not solid, but loyal. Not fixed, but faithful. And somewhere deeper still, beneath the nucleus, beneath the swirl of electrons, beneath even the laws we name, something holds them all. Not with hands, not with weight, but with rules more ancient than stars. And in that holding, you find peace. No need to grasp, no need to control. Because the atom has always held you, as gently as sleep holds thought. Let yourself float here, in the hush between pulses, in the possibility that something so small can carry everything you are. And yet, if this is what the atom is, a quiet heart wrapped in swirling maybes, what are the forces that make it stay together? What holds the nucleus from flying apart? What keeps the electrons from crashing in? What invisible hands shape this invisible world? You begin to wonder as the stillness deepens. What powers must be at play, unseen, unfelt, but always awake? Asterisk, there is something beneath everything you touch. Not substance, but influence. Not mass, but connection. The invisible rules that hold your world together. They never sleep while you rest in your bed. Beneath blankets, beneath skin, beneath molecules and atoms, forces stir. They do not blink. They do not stop. They are the background rhythm of your body and the universe alike. There are only 4 of them. 4 fundamental forces. for unseen hands guiding every movement, every interaction, every transformation. You feel some of them. Most you don't, but all of them are here, pressing gently on your life. Let's begin with gravity, the softest of them all, yet the one you know best. It pulls you into your bed, holds oceans to earth, keeps the moon in orbit, and sculpts galaxies like a potter with slow, steady hands. Gravity doesn't push or tug with ropes. It curves the fabric of space itself. The more mass something has, a mountain, a planet, a star, the deeper the dent it makes in space-time. And like marbles rolling toward the lowest point in a trampoline, everything else moves along those curves. You feel gravity every moment of your life, but it is the weakest of all the forces. So weak, in fact, that a small magnet can lift a paper clip against the pull of the entire planet. And that leads you to the next force, electromagnetism. Stronger, closer, constant. You don't notice it, but it holds your world together. It keeps your fingers from sinking through your phone. It lets you see, taste, feel. This force binds electrons to nuclei, holds atoms together in elegant dances of attraction and repulsion, like tides in a sea of energy. When you touch something, what you're really feeling is the electromagnetic repulsion between your electrons and the electrons in that surface. But you never truly touch. You come close enough for forces to rise like invisible walls. This same force guides electricity. It cradles light. Light is not a thing, but a wave, a ripple in electromagnetic fields crossing space at a speed so precise it defines time itself. Asterisk, your eyes, your heart, your brain, all are bound and powered by this force. It gives atoms their shape. It lets molecules form bonds, lets life build its complex chemistry, lets stars shine so while you sleep. Electromagnetism is wide, a walk spinning electrons, holding forms, making sure everything stays itself. Then there is the strong force, the most powerful of all, but also the most shy. It reaches no farther than the width of an atomic nucleus. It's a billionth of a millimeter. And yet within that breadth of space, it reigns supreme. Without the strong force, the protons inside an atomic nucleus, each one charged with positive energy, would push each other apart. Like magnets refusing to touch, they would scatter. But the strong force holds them close. It binds quarks inside protons and neutrons, and binds those protons and neutrons together. It is the glue of matter, the clasp that keeps atoms whole. You don't feel it directly, never will. But every atom in your body exists because this force holds chaos at bay. The strong force does not ease or stretch. It does not weaken with distance, simply holds. And finally, asterisk, the quietest and strangest of the four, the weak force. It lives in change, in transformation. While gravity pulls, while electromagnetism binds, while the strong force grips, the weak force whispers, become. It is the force that allows particles to decay, turn from one kind to another. It lets protons turn into neutrons, neutrons into electrons, changing identity like a leaf turning color in fall. This force fuels the sun. Through it, hydrogen becomes helium and light is born. Without it, there would be no fire, no fusion, no breath. In your own body, the weak force participates in radioactive decay, in the heat from Earth's core, in the ticking of atomic clocks. It is a quiet curator of transformation, turning the fabric of the universe one thread at a time. And so you lie in bed, feeling none of these things, but they are there. Gravity holds you down, gently anchoring you to your world. Electromagnetic forces hold your body together, your skin, your bones. The electric flicker of thoughts behind your eyes. The strong force hides in your atoms, keeping their hearts from flying apart. The weak force watches the edges, ready to step in when something must change. You don't need to see them to believe them. You live because of them. Each breath you take, each cell dividing in your skin, each spark of memory forming in your brain, they all require the harmony of these forces. They work together, though they follow different laws. Gravity acts on mass. Electromagnetism acts on charge. The strong and weak forces act on particles so small they exist beyond the edges of your understanding, and still, Kate, they act on you. The way a melody holds both high and low notes. The way a painting holds both shadow and light. Your existence is their masterpiece. It's a collaboration of tension and balance, of pull and release, grip and let dash go. Imagine the atom again, its quiet center, its clouded edge. Now imagine what holds it in place. That's the strong force. It's tight and fierce in the nucleus. That's electromagnetism, drawing electrons close. It's pushing others away. And around the atom, space stretches curved by mass, curved by gravity. Each of these forces dances with the others. They do not fight, but negotiate, and they do so across every corner of the universe, from black holes to butterfly wings. From your breath to the burning heart of a star. Even now, while you lie in silence, the forces continue. They do not need your attention. They simply are. They are the grammar of existence, the structure behind all form. You are not just a creature shaped by matter. You are a conversation between forces. You are the outcome of balance, delicate, precise, and enduring. And though your senses cannot feel the strong force or see the weak one, they shape every moment of your reality. They let light form. They let atoms exist. They let time flow. They are the guardians of motion, the editors of change, and they are always awake. You do not have to hold the world together. Told you. Invisible, patient, and true. And somewhere beneath it all, beneath gravity's pull, beneath the charge of particles, beneath the nuclear bonds, something even quieter waits. Not a force, but a pattern. A way that matter behaves even when it cannot be seen. Something that flickers between presence and possibility. A particle that never rests. A motion that never stills. A dance so strange it gives birth to light. Asterisk, there is a hum beneath form. Rhythm that never rests. You have felt it, though you may not have known its name. It lives inside your atoms, not in the center, but at the edges, in the places that shimmer, in the places where certainty blurs. It is the electron, light enough to seem weightless, agile enough to vanish between measurements, eternal enough to power stars. And though it is small, its dance shapes your entire world. You begin again, as always, by breathing. Inhale, and with that breath, you. Welcome a stream of electrons riding on oxygen, hitching a ride on the chemistry of life. They arrive not as objects, but as motion. Not fixed points, but probabilities. Probabilities. The electron does not orbit the nucleus like a moon around a planet. It does not swing in predictable circles. It swirls. It exists in clouds, not of mist, but of maybe. You cannot know exactly where it is. You can only know where it might. This is the strange truth. You are made of things that do not know where they are until you look. The electron is not where you think it is, not until you ask. And once you do, it answers by being there. Just there. Only for a moment. Then it moves again. Not like a stone tossed across water, but like a ripple that disappears and reappears. A whisper in the fog. This movement is not random. It follows rules, beautiful ones. Electrons arrange themselves in shells or energy levels, layers of presence around the nucleus. Each one a little farther, a little higher, not by distance alone, but by energy. You can picture them as steps. But these steps are not places. They are possibilities. An electron can jump between steps. It doesn't travel across the space in between, simply disappears from one level and appears on another. This is called a quantum leap. It's not dramatic, not grand, just quiet and sudden. But with each leap, the world responds. When an electron absorbs energy, a flash of light, a spark of heat, it jumps to a higher state. And when it falls back, it releases that energy again in a sigh of light. Photon born from motion. This is how atoms glow. This is how your eyes see color. This is how fire burns red and blue, how neon signs flicker in city streets, how stars shine. The world does not just reflect light, it creates it. And the electron is the artist. Each element has its own pattern of movement, its own fingerprint of light. That's why sodium glows yellow, why copper burns green, why hydrogen flashes violet. Every atom hums a different note. And electrons play the tune. Inside your body, this dance is constant. In every cell, electrons move through molecules, carrying energy, starting reactions, powering breath, powering thought. You are not just a container for atoms. You are a choreography of their movement. Every time you think, tiny electrical signals race through your neurons, waves of electrons leaping from one molecule to the next. Every heartbeat, every blink, every feeling carried on the backs of particles that never stop dancing. The electron does not spin like a top, but it has something we call spin, quantum property, not movement in space, but something stranger. It can be up, it can be down. It can be either until measured, and this spin shapes how electrons behave, how they fill the space around the nucleus. Two electrons cannot exist in the same place with the same spin. They spread out. They pair, they balance. This rule, so small, so quiet, is the reason the periodic table exists. It's why atoms bond the way they do. It's why matter has structure at all. And here's something else. Electrons are not alone. They can be shared. When atoms come close, their electrons reach out, link hands. This is a chemical bond. It's not a string, not a glue, but a shared electron cloud. Water, sugar, air, protein, they all exist because of this sharing. When you fall in love, when you eat, when you sleep. Your electrons rearrange delicately, faithfully, without ever resting. And they do all this while obeying rules no one invented. Rules that simply are. So what is the electron? Really? A particle? A wave? Both? Neither. It depends on how you look. If you measure it as a particle, it behaves like one. If you ask it to be a wave, it obliges. This is wave-particle duality, the unsettling truth that matter can be two things at once. An electron is not one thing. It is a question with many answers. And somehow it still builds the world. Even stranger, when an electron passes through two slits in an experiment, interferes with itself as though it traveled both paths at once. But if you try to watch it, it chooses only one. Your observation changes the outcome. The electron is not just small. It is mysterious. It is the poetry of physics, a verse that changes each time it's read. And yet, you are made of them. Billions, trillions woven through your body like threads of motion and charge. They give your body electricity. They shape your chemistry. They hold you together, and they never rest. Even in deepest sleep, they move. Even in stillness, they hum. The light from stars reaches your eyes because electrons in the sun leap and fall, giving birth to photons that travel across space and touch your vision with warmth. And in this very moment, some of the electrons in your body are being borrowed from starlight, from food, from water, and some are leaving, moving into the world, into the air around you. You do not own them. You are in conversation with them, and when your body feels tired, when your thoughts grow quiet, they continue. Their motion becomes your breath. Their light becomes your dreams. The electron is a mystery wrapped in law. It does not think, does not choose, but it responds. It dances. It listens to energy, to fields, to the universe itself, and it sings back in sparks and sighs of light. You are not just made of matter. You are made of motion, and the electron is your quiet pulse, a rhythm that never leaves, a shimmer that never fades. Even now, in the silence between thoughts, they move, and as you drift toward sleep, as your breathing slows, as your body settles, into the deep and the dark, your electrons do not sleep. They leap. They glow. They continue the story, and somewhere in the space around the atom, where certainty blurs and maybe begins, something stranger still waits. Not a thing, but an emptiness that isn't empty at all. Asterisk, you have been taught to think of nothing as an absence. An empty bowl? A quiet room? The moment between heartbeats. But what if nothing is not empty at all? What if nothing is crowded? Buzzing, trembling, flickering with unseen forces? Tonight, you drift into that question. Breathe slowly. You are floating. Again, beyond atoms and electrons, past molecules, past matter, past light. You are falling inward into space, not filled with things, but with the very idea of nothing. And here's the truth. Even nothing has a weight. Not the kind you measure on a scale, but the kind that curves space-time. The kind that shapes the fate of galaxies. Let's begin simply. You take everything away. The stars, the dust, the warmth, the light. Peel back the layers of being until there is no object, no sound, no heat. What remains? A vacuum, perhaps. It's an empty field. But the vacuum is not truly empty. It seethes with energy. Silent, invisible, immeasurable by your senses. Yet it is there. Physicists call it the quantum vacuum. A place where particles flicker in and out of existence, not permanent particles, but ghostly suggestions. Pairs of energy appearing, interacting, then vanishing again. Virtual particles, they do not last long. They borrow energy from nothing and repay it quickly. But even in their brief, flickering life, they leave fingerprints. You cannot see them directly, but their presence has been proven in the Casimir effect. Two metal plates placed very close, together in a vacuum, are pulled inward, not by air, not by magnetism, but by the pressure of the nothingness between them. Because in that gap, fewer virtual particles can form. And the imbalance creates a force. Nothing pulls. You see, nothing is not the absence of everything. It is the potential for anything. It is pregnant with fluctuation, dense with It is the canvas before the painting, the silence before the music, and it has weight. This is not just poetry. The energy of empty space has measurable consequences. In fact, it may be responsible for the most mysterious force of all, dark energy. That subtle, invisible push causing the universe to expand faster, wider, farther. Galaxies are not just drifting apart. They are accelerating the farther they are from one another. The faster they flee. Asterisk and physicists believe this could be due to the energy of the vacuum itself, a pressure built into the fabric of space, a tension in the nothing, so even when all the matter in the universe cools, even when the stars burn out and atoms fall apart, this vacuum energy remains. It does not fade, does not sleep. It is the quiet breath of the cosmos, the background hum of being. Even now, as you lie still, as you let go of thought and worry, this hum surrounds you. Everywhere you go, it waits beneath form, and it may have always been there. In the beginning, before time, before light. What was there? Perhaps just this vacuum, this humming, maybe and then a fluctuation, a tiny imbalance, a ripple in the nothing. From that ripple, everything. Some physicists believe our universe is born from such a fluctuation, a sudden spark of energy from the vacuum itself, which, once set loose, inflated into time and space, like a bubble forming in still water. You came from that bubble. You are part of that ripple. You are not a thing trapped in space. You are a wave rising from it. Even the Higgs field, that mysterious field that gives particles mass, exists everywhere, even in empty space. Asterisk, it is invisible, constant, and yet it touches every particle with the whisper of resistance. That resistance is mass, so even in a perfect vacuum, the Higgs field persists, quietly telling particles who they are, how much weight they carry. So again, even nothing is something, and this nothing is not still at the tiniest scales, smaller than atoms, smaller than electrons. There is chaos, tiny tremors, quantum fluctuations. Space itself is not smooth. It's a foam. a jittery sea of micro-events. Each one so small and fast it escapes your grasp, but together they shape reality. You could call this quantum foam, the churning soup of the tiniest scales. It's a place where space and time no longer behave, where certainty dissolves. This foam underlies all things. It is where gravity and quantum mechanics meet, though no one yet knows how. It's possible that black holes themselves, made of gravity and darkness, are windows into this deeper truth. That inside them, where space collapses, the quantum nothingness seethes with data. And here's a final thought. Even information may never be destroyed. When particles fall into black holes, they vanish. But some believe their information remains, somehow encoded in the ripples at the edge of space. In the event horizon, so even when matter disappears, some shadow of it stays. Nothing does not. Forget tonight as you float in this inky sea. Let the comfort settle in. You are surrounded by something deeper than silence. Not just the absence of noise, but the presence of infinite potential. Even when your thoughts pause. Even when your breath grows shallow. Even when the world around you feels still, beneath that stillness is the movement of maybe. And that maybe is everything. It is the possibility that electrons will flicker into being, that energy will rise and collapse, that a star may be born, or a thought may emerge. You are not separate from it. You came from it. You are the ripple of nothing, remembering itself. You are the wave cresting out of silence. So sleep now. Let the weight of nothing hold you. Let it wrap around you like invisible warmth. Let it hum you into dreams. For even when you dream of emptiness, you are held in something full. And when you wake, the world you touch, the warmth of your pillow, the breath in your lungs, the morning light will have all emerged from that strange, trembling stillness called nothing. But now you know better. Now you know there is no such thing. Asterisk, you've always been moving. From the moment you took your first breath, you've been swimming through something unseen. You call it time? You measure it with clocks, with heartbeats, with the slow passing of shadows. But the truth is, you don't see time. You only see its echoes. A wrinkle in the skin, a sunrise melting into noon. A memory forming. Time feels steady, linear, reliable. But as you rest here, beneath the hush of night, you begin to wonder, what if time isn't what you think? What if past and future are not ahead or behind, but folded all around you? What if time is not a river you float down, but a field you walk across, one where all points already exist, and your journey is just a line through it? You take a slow breath. Inhale possibility. Exhale the illusion of control. Now let's begin with what physics knows. Time is deeply woven into space itself. Together, they form a fabric, space-time. This fabric bends and curves around massive things, planets, stars, even you. That's gravity, and gravity does not just pull on objects. It pulls on time. Near something heavy. Time slows down. This isn't science fiction. It's been measured. Astronauts aging slightly slower than people on Earth. GPS satellites ticking differently from ground clocks. Time, you see, is not absolute. It flows faster or slower depending on where you are, how fast you're moving, how close you are to something massive. It bends, it stretches. It dilates. So what does that mean for you? It means your sense of now is not universal. There is no single moment that is now for everyone. Each heartbeat, each thought, is its own shimmering slice of the cosmos. You are not marching through time. You are growing along it. It's like a vine wrapping around invisible trellises. Let's go deeper. You imagine time as a straight line passed behind. You, future ahead. But in physics, especially in Einstein's theory of relativity, all of time already exists. Just like all places on a map, you are simply in one part of it, experiencing the now because that's where your consciousness is focused. Your mind slices the universe into frames. You remember the past? You predict the future, but you only feel the present. That's a trick of the brain. In truth, there is no present that is the same for all things, only slices of space-time seen from different points of view. So is time an illusion? Yes and no. It is real in its consequences. You age, you forget, you grow, but it may not flow. It may be that flow is something your brain invents a way to make sense of change. Your brain, after all, is a time machine. It records sequences, builds causality, imagines futures. It stitches flickering sensory input into a story, and that story has a rhythm. That rhythm feels like time. But that rhythm can be broken under extreme conditions when you're in danger. When you dream, when you meditate, time behaves differently. It stretches, it slows, it vanishes. Why? Because time is not something you touch. It's something you feel. Your body keeps time with cycles, the beat of your heart, the pulsing of neurons, the circadian rhythm of sleep and wake. But your sense of time is constructed. And like all constructions, it can be bent. There's more in the quantum world, that jittery realm of atoms and probabilities. Time behaves even more strangely. In the equations of quantum physics, time is symmetric. It moves forward and backward equally well. There is no arrow built in. It's only possibility. So where does our experience of forward time come from? It's from entropy, from the tendency of systems to move from order to disorder. From a cold glass of tea, warming in the sun, from a droplet of ink dissolving in water. These processes don't reverse, not because they can't, but because it's overwhelmingly unlikely. This one-way street, arrow of time, is carved by entropy. It is the slow, inevitable smudging of all things. You are born. You live. You return to dust, not because time demands it, but because the universe drifts from precision to chaos, from low entropy to high. But what if that's not the whole picture? Some physicists suggest that the universe may be like a vast block, all of time existing at once, the past, present, and future all laid out like a sculpture. And you are the observer moving through it like a flashlight beam, illuminating. One slice at a time. It means your future is already there, not fixed, but present, waiting for your awareness to reach it. It means those you've lost in the past, they still exist in their own region of time. Nothing is truly gone, just distant in the fourth dimension. So tonight, as you rest here, you are not just on a bed. In a room, you are suspended in a web of space-time, held in a matrix of now and not yet, drifting across a cosmic story that is far larger than you can see. And that story is still being told. Even though you feel small, your presence ripples through this story. Every choice you make branches into countless futures. This is called the many worlds interpretation. In one, you stay. In another, you leave. In one, you speak. In another, you remain silent. All possibilities exist. And the version you experience is simply one path through the garden of time. But you are not lost. You are never lost. Even when the future feels foggy, even when the past aches, you are exactly where you're meant to be, because your presence is the light that turns possibility into memory. So sleep now. Feel time slow. Let the illusion loosen its grip. Let go of clocks. Let go of stories. There is only this moment. And even that is more than enough. For in this moment, the entire universe breathes with you. Time, with all its weight and wonder, is cradling you, gently, not as a line, but as a sea. And you are the wave. Asterisk, you've always been told that reality is solid, that it's made of things, objects, particles, matter. You believe in chairs and stars, bones and water. You trust that when you reach out to touch something, it will be there. But in the quiet shadows of the atom, in the humming emptiness between electrons and quarks, reality slips through the cracks. At the quantum level, the universe doesn't behave. It doesn't sit still. It doesn't obey the logic of your waking mind. It dances, tides, it waits. Imagine this. A tiny particle smaller than anything you can see. Let's say an electron. You'd think it's just a speck, a tiny ball orbiting the nucleus of an atom. But when you look closer, the electron isn't in one place. It's in many. It exists in a cloud of maybes. It's a wave of probability, spread out like fog across possibility, not here, not there, but everywhere it could be. And then you look, you measure, you ask the universe, where is it? And something extraordinary happens. The fog collapses. The wave folds into a point. The electron chooses asterisk. This is called wave function. Collapse. It means the particle becomes real only when you observe it. Before that was only potential, a whisper, a shimmer, a maybe. The universe was not made of things but of questions. And you, the observer, were the answer. This isn't metaphor. It's experiment. The famous double-slit experiment revealed it clearly. A beam of particles is fired at a wall with two slits. If no one watches, the particles behave like waves, interfering, overlapping, creating a complex pattern of possibilities. But if you measure which slit a particle goes through, everything changes. The wave disappears. The interference vanishes. The particles act like tiny marbles. They pick a path. Your observation collapses the wave. Your act of knowing changes the outcome. How can that be? What does it mean to say that reality is not real until you look at it? It means you are not outside the universe. You are part of it, entangled with it, inseparable from it. You are not a camera recording the world. You are a co-author, writing it into being by the very act of looking. And yet, there's more mystery. Because even when no human looks, reality still seems to behave. Plants photosynthesize. Stars shine. Atoms bond. So maybe it's not about human eyes. Maybe it's about interaction. Maybe every time something interacts with something else, that counts as a kind of observation. Maybe the universe is watching itself. Particles brushing against each other collapse each other's possibilities. Every collision is a choice. Every moment is a narrowing of the quantum sea. Still, you can't ignore the poetry here. That your attention matters. That your awareness plays a role in shaping what is real. You are not a bystander. You are a participant. Your thoughts ripple through the fabric of being. Your gaze carries gravity. Your presence bends probability. And what then is reality? It is not a single answer. It is a mirror with many reflections. A garden of branching paths. In one, a particle goes left. In another, it goes right. In one world, you whisper. In another, you scream. And all of them exist woven into the strange fabric of the many worlds interpretation. It means reality never collapses to one choice. It means every possible outcome happens somewhere. It means there is a version of you that turned away, and a version that stayed, a version that took the risk, and one that played it safe. But you will only experience one, because your consciousness flows down a single thread. Even while the whole tapestry unfolds in silence, still the other versions are real. Real as dreams you've never had. Real as shadows in the mirror. And the mirror is everywhere. Every time. You choose. You carve a path through the quantum maze. You are the navigator. The flashlight. The shaper of stories, and that story begins at the smallest level. Not with what is, but with what could be. The atom waits. Its parts shimmer with uncertainty. They do not say yes or no until the universe asks. That's what it means to be quantum, to live as a question, to breathe as a maybe, to unfold from potential into presence, and that, in some way, is also what it means to be you. You wake each morning with possibility. You walk into rooms with open endings. Speak, not knowing what will echo back. You are not a machine repeating a script. You are a wave of choices collapsing into a moment again and again. Even your thoughts flicker with quantum strangeness. Your neurons fire with the uncertainty of ions and potentials. Your mind is not a clock. It's a cloud, shimmering, mist of patterns and signals, waiting to form meaning. You are the meaning maker. You are the question that never stops unfolding. So what, then, is real? Real is what resonates. Real is what survives the collapse. Real is what you experience. And tonight, as you close your eyes, you are not drifting away from the world. You are slipping deeper into its mirror, into the hidden place where all answers wait to be asked, where particles hum in suspense, where the future trembles with curiosity. This is not science fiction. It is the heart of the quantum world, a world where nothing is fixed, only offered. A gift, waiting for your gaze. So sleep now and know that when you wake, you are not stepping into a fixed world. You are stepping into a mirror that reflects your presence in every wave, in every flicker, in every breath of reality. Asterisk, there is a mystery that haunts the atom. Something so strange, Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. It's called entanglement. And it begins like this. Two particles are born together. Maybe in the heart of a star, or in the spark of a photon beam. However, they arrive. They are linked not by space, not by wires, but by something deeper. They spin in opposite directions, perfectly balanced, to dancers moving in silence across time and distance. Now, separate them. One stays here with you. The other is sent far across the galaxy, beyond the orbit of memory. And still, if you measure one, the other responds. Instantly, no matter the space between, no signal sent. No delay. One turns left, the other turns right. It's as if they are still one thing divided by space, but not by truth. This is not a trick. It's been tested, confirmed, and it breaks the rules of the world you thought you knew. It whispers that reality is not local, that what happens here can echo there, without anything traveling in between. And more than that, it suggests the universe is not made of parts, but of relationships. You are not separate from the rest. You are entangled, not just with people you love, but with every atom that has ever touched you. With the particles that brushed against yours when you were born, with the air you breathed a moment ago, with the starlight that kissed your skin. You are a thread in a web that cannot be seen, and that web is always humming. It's always shifting, responding in ways you may never notice. It is a kind of memory, a silent code written into the fabric of everything. And yet entanglement is fragile. A touch, a noise, a glance, and the connection collapses. It's like a secret that can only survive if no one listens too closely. But the ghost of that connection remains. A trace, a pattern that once was done. So what does this mean for you? It means you are not an island. You are an echo. When you feel something before it happens, when you think of someone just as they call, you are feeling the web. Not magic, not coincidence. With the subtle tremble of quantum threads, it means your actions ripple. They touch more than you can see, because even your body is not one thing. It is many and those many parts. Your atoms, your molecules are dancing with particles that were once stars, oceans, trees. Other people. The hydrogen in your veins was born in the Big Bang. The iron in your blood was forged in a dying star. Every part of you has been part of something else, and will be again. And maybe, just maybe, those parts remember each other in the quantum quiet. Maybe they still speak asterisk. This is the hidden web. A web not of ropes, but of probabilities, of silent choices, of ghosts that do not haunt, but hold. It changes how you see separation. When someone you love is far, they are still near in the only way that matters. You breathe, and somewhere they breathe too. You are not apart. You are entangled. And in this dream you call reality, where everything pretends to be alone, there is a deeper truth. Nothing is truly alone. Not a photon, not a thought, Not a hard dot, and when you sleep, you fall not into isolation, but into the arms of a universe that is always touching itself. A universe where every flicker of your soul reaches farther than light. So rest now, let the particles in your body remember where they came from. Let them hum in the key of stars and strangers. Because tonight, you are not just lying in bed. You are wrapped in a web that began before time and stretches into forever. And in that web, you are known. You are connected. You are never lost. Asterisk in the quiet space between thought and action, there is a trembling, a waiting, a shimmering pause. This is where the quantum world lives, not in the things that are, but in the things that might be. You are made of atoms, but your atoms are not solid. They are clouds of probability, flickering between magma. An electron is not a tiny ball orbiting a nucleus. It is a wave, a haze, a swirl of where it could be, and only when you look, only when you measure, does it choose. This is called wave function collapse. Before the collapse, there is possibility. After, there is one truth. The universe in its smallest pieces waits for a decision to be made. Not by a mind, but by an interaction, a touch, a glance of light dot. Until then, it dances. Not in randomness, but in gentle superpositions, all outcomes held like feathers in still air. This is how the future exists, as a song unsung. It's a road not yet walked. You are the listener, the traveler, and your presence matters. The ancient question rises again. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make a sound? In the quantum forest, the answer is stranger. The tree falls in all directions, left, right, backward, inward, until something hears. And only then does it settle into the story we call real. Now look at your own life. How many versions of you exist in the realm of the might have been? The moment before you spoke, the moment before you turned, the breath before you said yes or no. You are constantly collapsing the wave. Every second choosing one timeline from an infinite set with the simple act of being here. And so is everything else, the stars, the air, even your dreams, all are shaped by this strange intimacy between potential and presence. You are not just living in time, you are shaping it, And that shaping, that collapse, doesn't come with thunder. It comes with stillness, the whisper of now, the soft hand of choice. Even when you do nothing, the universe listens. It curves toward your being, but don't mistake this for control. You are not steering the future like a ship. You are moving with it, breathing with it, surfing its crest like light on water. The wave collapses. And you arrive, again and again and again, now and now. And now. Each moment is the child of mystery, chosen from the womb of what could have been. So when you feel unsure, when your heart trembles between two paths, remember this: the world does not demand certainty, it invites your presence. Just by being, you are enough to turn maybe into is. Even your sleep is part of the unfolding. Your dreaming brain sends signals. Your breathing body collapses probabilities. You are still participating, still here, still the observer. And in the language of the atom, to observe is to create. So rest in this truth. The future is not written, but it waits for you in the field of quantum calm. Let your fears drift. Let your choices soften. There is no wrong path, only the one you walk. You are not late. You are not early. You are always arriving exactly when the wave collapses, exactly when the universe says, yes to you. You've traveled far tonight. From stardust to waveforms, from particles to paradox. And now you float in the fog. Not lost, but listening. You've met the atom not as a thing, but as a suggestion. You've seen electrons not as orbits, but as clouds of maybe. You've walked across probability fields and stood before the mirror, where observation makes the world. But as the science settles, a deeper question rises, a quiet one. Why? Why does the universe work this way? Why so much hiddenness, So much gentleness, so much waiting for a witness. Is it a puzzle with missing pieces, or a song meant only to be heard in dreams? Science does not pretend to know why. It tells you what happens, how it happens, and sometimes when. But the meaning, that's where you come in. That's what your heart, your soft, curious, wondering heart is made to ask. Inside every atom in your body is emptiness and energy. Inside that energy is uncertainty. And within that uncertainty, you find space. Space for beauty. Space for awe. Space for meaning. Because when things are not locked tight, when truth is not fixed, there is room to wonder. And when you wonder, you reach. And in reaching, you connect. This is the hidden gift of the quantum world. It leaves room for you, your mind, your voice, your dreams. A universe that could have been rigid chose to be soft. It could have snapped closed like a box. Instead, it stayed open, a whisper that waits to be heard. You are not a mistake in this probabilistic dance. You are part of the rhythm. Your curiosity feeds it. Your questions shape it. Your sleep echoes in it like ripples in a pond where even stillness is alive. So here, in the hush, in the calm after understanding, you begin to notice the science is beautiful. Yes, but the silence beneath the science is sacred, where numbers become music, where equations hum like lullabies, where particles do not just collide, they meet. You are not just in a universe of things. You are in a universe of relations. Every atom in your body was once in the heart of a star. Every breath you take intersects with the breath of trees, oceans, and strangers you'll never know, and the laws that govern all this. They don't shout, they whisper, not because they are shy, but because they are vast, because the deepest truths cannot be crammed into boxes. They must be floated through, like fog dots. So when you lie here, half awake, half asleep, you're exactly where you need to be to feel it. The soft field of what is real. And what might be? The hum behind existence. You are not apart from it. You are not standing outside observing. You are inside the whisper. You are part of what makes it real. And as you drift towards sleep, remember, the universe is not silent. It's just subtle. It speaks in probabilities and spins and entanglements, in echoes and waves. It speaks through you, through your stillness, your awe. Your breath, so rest now with the fog all around you, is not here to confuse you. It is here to carry you. Let your thoughts melt into it. Let your body dissolve into it. Let the last boundary blur. Here in the quantum hush, everything is possible. And the quietest truths are waiting to be heard by someone just like you.